Before we get on with the video, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget we are still doing a giveaway for this one of these authentic piece. This is a piece of the first football to ever cross the goal line at then called Reliance Stadium. It's signed by Andre. It's signed by John Weeks. It's signed by J.J. Watt, Case Keenum, Matt Schaub. Only 1,000 of these exist with the freaking with the football piece. It says that, this was against the Cowboys. This is very old, guys, almost 20 years old. So if you want to be a part of that, just let me know in the comments below who is your favorite player on the Houston Texans. Or, hey, maybe, who is your favorite player in the NFL? Guys, now let's get on with the video. I think that we have to prepare ourselves for this NFL draft in the next up and coming days, right? Because I still think that the conversation of possibly trading Deshaun Watson still has to be circling, even though with all these allegations going on around him, even though the world has really flipped upside down on Deshaun Watson, Nick Caserio has to be looking for ways out. Also, as Deshaun Watson needs to be looking at ways out of this situation as well. Will he have to bite the bullet and just settle and just pay, all these 22 allegations, a bunch of money, probably be scrutinized and criticized for the next couple years, but then you can still play football, and then you can still, be Deshaun Watson and be the guy that a lot of people expect you to be, which is a damn good quarterback in the NFL. That has to be talked about. There's no way there doesn't. And there are teams with multiple draft picks, good players, who can potentially take on Deshaun Watson. I mean, we obviously know Miami. We know maybe San Fran, maybe Chicago, even Philadelphia is in the mix there. We are going to have a lot of hypothetical situations that will be thrown out in the next up and coming days. If there is a trade on draft day, it has to be multiple picks. It has to be multiple seconds, a couple thirds, a player. That's the kind of person that Deshaun Watson is, a top 3 quarterback in the NFL who just happens to be always horny. That's just what Deshaun Watson does. And I think that as Houston Texans fans, we should be prepared for every and any situation, because we don't know what this team has changed. It's like we stopped being surprised by what this team does, trading players, getting in trouble, doing this, doing that. Deshaun Watson leaving, Deshaun Watson want to stay, he's sitting out or not. A lot of drama is going on with the Houston Texans organization, and why I'm trying to bring all this back is there might be an end to all this come draft day. We know that the Houston Texans are starting their rebuild. They now have their 3rd coach in franchise history. Obviously, a rebuild is happening. You were god-awful last year. You were historically one of the worst defenses in the NFL, and that's kind of your fault for choosing not to invest in the defense in the offseason. And, the pieces that you lost on offense and the pieces that you brought to gain didn't do much, right? Besides Brandon Cooks, David Johnson was a failure. Randall Cobb was a failure. And those were 2 weapons who you brought in and said, this offense is going to be special, but it wasn't special. It was with Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson atoned for almost 80% of the Houston Texans offense last year. Teams have to be looking at that. Teams have to be paying attention to these situations. Teams have to be calling their lawyers, have to be calling their lawyer buddies and see, is there any way that Deshaun Watson makes it out of it? And on draft day, they can call the Houston Texans and say, I have a solution to your problem. And it's a new future for the Houston Texans without Deshaun Watson, and you have multiple draft picks. Whether it's San Fran, whether it's Philly, whether it's Miami, maybe it's the Jets, who knows? But there is obviously a way out for the Houston Texans to get out of this and start fresh. And that is with a potential trade this draft day. Who knows? I don't know for sure. One thing for sure is to be paying attention on draft day. Follow Patrick Storm. Follow Texans Thoughts. Follow the Texan Unfiltered team. Follow me even, guys. As always, go Houston Texans. As always, don't forget about the giveaway. And as always, y'all have a blessed day, man.